This conference will now be recorded.
మేడం చెప్పండి. మేడం నేను వినిపిస్తుంది మేడం. అది నాది షేక్ ఐ మీన్ ఏమంటారు రికగ్నైజ్ అవుతుంది. గ్రీన్ కలర్‌లో హైలైట్ అవుతుంది.
Yes,
సారీ కషిఫా?
now I can hear your voice.
ఆ! So, it seems you guys were facing some audio issues, isn't it? Okay, no problems. I looks like the text messages were missing out for me. Whatever you have sent, I'm really sorry. Okay, I think just 4 minutes back. That means I was just discussing about arithmetic operators. So hope it's audible for me, audible for you guys now. Can I get a consent? Yes, no. Guys, able to hear me?
Yes,
Again,
sir.
I'm asking. Okay, okay. So I was just discussing about arithmetic operators, right? Basically, we do only addition, subtraction like that. So now, yesterday we wrote our programs in basic notepad. However, since it was a small program of printing in Hello World, it was very good enough for us to write it in a notepad. How about to deal with an complex programs? Right, of course there's a notepad or a sublime editors available for us which we can use it for our practice purposes. Again, how about storing them? For example, today I'll write these arithmetic programs in this Sublime editor, Sublime text editor, okay, and then we can get it. How about when we are dealing with multiple projects, right? Multiple folders will be there when we are working with the frameworks, etc. and all. The organization, like say for example, how do we organize our clothes in our home, right? So we do have a separate racks for that, wherein we'll be storing according to the classifications of it. Now, the similar way, if I have to save my file systems of my program, of the project, of a particular project, similar way, even I'll be maintaining the folder structures and then I'll be storing them out. Now, how can I get it achieved in the notepad? Right? It is not quite possible for us. And also, the biggest drawback, whatever I have told as of now, can be managed some or the other ways. The biggest drawback is after until I complete the programming and I do in Java C, I'll not be getting to know what is the error that we are getting in. For example, yesterday, instead of a single slash for the commenting place part, right, I have used double slash purposefully. Until we compiled it using Java C, we were not able to get that particular error. Then in that case, it is really very, very tough, right? So it was just two flower bases that we have opened in our program yesterday to print hello world, and we were able to easily correlate and then identify. What if we are doing it with multiple blocks of such code we are writing in? And if I miss that kind of a flower base or a semicolon, etc., and all, it would have a huge impact, right? So the computer will not be able to understand. Like, say, for example, I'm going to give you a smaller example. If you guys have seen Rajnikant's robo machine, right? So the mother will say, right, basically, TV, you switch off the TV, but in a local slang, she'll be saying that you throw it out. It's a self-understood for us that it's just a turn off of a TV. However, the robo did not understand the sense of it, the slang of it. He will be throwing that out, that particular robo, isn't it? Now, the similar way we are supposed to pass each and every basic instruction in such a way that the computer understands. Now, in that context, right? If I miss that out in a notepad while dealing with notepads, so then it will be a huge problem for us, isn't it? So to avoid these things, um, what we are supposed to do? We are supposed to play with the tools, some of the IDEs, integrated development environment tools. So these integrated development environments, in our first class, I was telling you guys that either we could use um, Eclipse, or we could use IntelliJ, or we could use any other editors, VS Code in that context, right? So now today what I'm gonna do is I will basically use. Are you guys still facing any audio issues from my end? Because I could see that people are dropping out and dropping in. Can I get some confirmations? You are still audible. I'm audible. I can't hear your voice. It is very low. Mhm. Are you facing again still? Is it everyone that are facing in the same problem? We just got this update now, 2 minutes ago. Hi H. I'm not sure what's your name. Uh, you're trying to say something. So I could see that from my end there's no problem. The audio speakers are 100% and the mic is turned on. So can I get some confirmations? Yeah. Okay then. Okay then. Okay, no problems. So today, what we're gonna do is we're gonna learn one of the IDE, that is Eclipse. Okay, and in this Eclipse, right, we will learn and then write the very basic Hello World program that we have seen yesterday. Okay, and what are the ways? Okay, and also if possible, we can also let's learn with another IDE interface, basically with IntelliJ or something today itself. Okay, let's not bury and then write the programs as much as possible on the day one itself. So here now, if you notice, now select a directory as a workspace. This workspace is nothing but um, the location. Basically, it's a location in your computer memory, right? That C drive, D drive, E drive, whatever drive names that you have, you'll be having in. So these drives names only. So which will be basically used to store your values, the file systems, etc. and all. Let's say, for example, today you are working with VCUBE Institute in order to develop a web application. Now tomorrow you joined, you left VCube and then you worked on, or else in VCube itself, today you worked on web application. Tomorrow you started developing an API functionality, right? You started dealing with APIs. Now, how could you place them all at one single location so as things can be monitored and then get things done, right? So in that situations, we might be in need of an workspaces, okay, wherein we can store all our projects. Hmm? Now, sometimes the same web application project will also have to deal with an APIs and the date, whatever it could be. Now, in that way, what we're going to do is we'll create one API project, a web application project, and we'll have an interrelation of these two things. Now, how could this get done? So, we'll be storing them in workspaces. So, workspace is very much important, and we have to adhere and then follow, okay, this workspace logics. So in this case, this was a weekend batch I was having in for one of the institute. Now what I gonna do is I have just selected the I have let me show it again. I'll click on the browse icon, that's it, I'm not doing anything. And then I came to my location Naveen's in this particular laptop, and then now I gonna create a workspace with the name. I'll be creating a new folder and then I'll say like VCube Institute. Okay. Now in this VCube Institute, I'll be selecting this folder and then I am clicking on the launch. That simple. We just created an empty folder and then we clicked on launch icon. Hmm? Now, if you notice, na, it's launching. Usually, it will take some time. You don't need to worry. So, this is the welcome screen that you guys will be getting it. So, I have zoomed in. So, let me minimize it so as I can see your comments as well. If you are facing any issues, audio, etc. and all. So, let me maximize this, minimize, and then ensure it. Okay. Hmm. Now, this will be your welcome screen when you install Eclipse. So, how to install Eclipse? I think I have already discussed with you that I'll be sharing out this particular presentation where each and every detailed step of how to install Java, how to install Eclipse are covered with the step by steps. So, you can get it from the institute. I'll be sharing with them via an email by end of the day today, and from tomorrow onwards, you'll be having it. Okay, that shouldn't be any problem. Uh, just because I just need some time, the only reason is that we had older versions of it. Either it could be Java or something. No? So that's where. So ensure that you are installing Java 1.8 and all. Okay. I'll be giving the documentation detailed steps. I'll be sending it out this material. So you will be shared according to the terms and conditions of the institute. Um, right. So you can get those details from the institute. And so as right, once we start in, you will be learning it how to use these tools, etc. Now coming back, so you can see that there is an option called to create a new Java project, okay, or check out the projects from the Git if we are working with GitHub repositories, etc. Or if you wanted to import the existing project, let's say for example, I have shared some project with you. What if you wanted to import that? So in that cases, these are the options. Now this is one way of creating a Java project. If you click on this create a new Java project, it will take you to this particular screen and then you will be able to create a Java project. Remember this screen. Now I'm not creating with the help of that one. So now can you see again there is an option to create a Java project. This is the other way. If you close the welcome screen, this is the other way. Now when I click on create a Java project, see the same screen we are getting it. Now there is an other way to create a Java project as well. That is file, new, sorry, Java project. So these are the three ways that we can create a Java project. Now here I'll say like full stack Java development is the naming convention that I'm giving in. Okay. You can choose any one of the option in order to create. And then no, remember, you don't create this module info Java. And, okay, that is not required for us basically in order to while working it out. Okay, and sometimes if you wanted, right, you can have this particular project names in the lower case as well. It is up to anyone. However, the standard way of writing is the this way only, not the class name. Do remember, not the variable name, only for this particular project one. Now, under this SRC, okay, as I was telling you that let's organize, etc. and all. Why do I need to organize? Let's say, for example, after 3 months, after 6 months of completion of this course, now if you wanted to refer for giving an another interview, let's say, for example, after 2 years of successfully working in one organization, now you plan to switch, and then you thought of refreshing your skills. Hey, I paid to VCUBE Institute that day for my full stack Java development, right? So let me brush up my Java skills in that fashion, right? In that context. Now, if you wanted to go back and see what did I learn on the day one, so if I simply write every programs here only, now it will be tougher for you to refresh your skills, right? The practices that you wanted to do in that to avoid such kind of things. Even after 5 years, even after 3 years, if you wanted to have a look of it, right? So then I gonna suggest the way that you are gonna follow. You should follow basically, so as it will be easy for you even after 5 years, even after 3 years. Okay. Yeah, probably after 10 years you may feel silly. Okay, this is how I learned. Today I'm teaching someone else, right? So that should be your confidence level, etc. So now what I'm going to do is I'll right click over here, okay, and then I'm selecting new package. Package is nothing but the folder. I'll show you guys this one, okay. And now what am I doing it here? Yesterday we wrote an hello world program. So today is the first day we are dealing with Eclipse, right? So I'll say like day one. That means in the day one folder, I'm again creating and class. Okay. So let's not call folder and all. Let's call them as package. Inside day one package, I am creating first program hmm, as a class. See, how did I create? Like how I created a package. Similar way, I right click and then instead of package, this time I selected a class over here. And then, okay, let us increase the font size of this so as you guys will be easily monitor, able to see it. Windows preferences, neutral appearance, colors and fonts, and then in that basic, and when I scroll down for the text font, and then you edit this font, it is somewhere around 10. Oh my goodness, very small, right? So let's make it as 18 and then click on apply, apply and close. Okay, now is it visible for you everyone, or you wanted me to increase the font size again? hmm I hope it should be okay for you guys since you are not giving any consent. I hope you guys are able to make it. Or on a safer side, let me increase the font size a little bit more. Let me make it as some 22. Hmm, apply and apply and close. Okay. So now over here, what did we write yesterday? We wrote something like public class, sorry, not class, static void main string of arrays and then arguments. So this is how we have written yesterday. Now, with the use of these IDs, now I'm going to give you some shortcut tips at the end of the project. However, now I'll write simply the main method and then see, I did some keyboard actions and it automatically filled it out. How did we do this? I'll be showing it to you. I'll be giving these tips at the end of the course completion because I want you guys to practice. Let's say, for example, tomorrow in an interview, if you forget, if you fail to write this main method in a notepad, they might ask you to write in a notepad because they wanted to clearly see how you write the syntaxes. They know that these IDs will be giving you all the suggestions, etc. and all, so that you are not writing on your own. So they, if what if they ask you to write in a notepad, you should be able to write, right? So you, this main method, the statement, whatever we have written, public, static, void, you should be able to remember. So that's where all these tips I'll be giving you at the end of the course. Okay, so once you practice, na, everything will be smoother as I'll be giving you the shortcuts. For example, system.out.println is one we have written, and in this single quote, double quotes, we have written hello world, right? And then we terminated this within semicolon. So now this is how we have written. However, even for this, there is a tip. Now again, I'll write something called as an sysout. And remember, not all tips works for you in every in IDE. Some tips may work only for Eclipse, and some tips may not work for other. Okay. So now, with respect to Eclipse, I'm showing you. I will do some keyboard operations. Notice it. It just auto-filled. Initially, you practice it. I'll make your life easier after at the time of course completion. Okay. So now I'll say like hello world, and then I'll save this particular file. Now, how to execute this file? Everything is good, right? So now immediately there should have been a question arised in your brains that yes, yesterday after compile, I saw something called as a class file being generated. Okay. However, this guy is doing something in the Notepad Eclipse editor today, and I am not able to see that class file. Where is that class file missing out? Right? This should be the question. It should have arisen by now in your things. So now I gonna show you where it is. So I'll go to this particular location. Okay. Now if you see, this is the src folder. Inside that day one is the folder, and we have our first program.java. However, there is no class file being generated. Where is the class file? Now go to this bin folder. Again, can you see that there is something called as a day1, and inside this day1, can you see first program dot class is being generated. That means whatever I have shown yesterday, it's how the Java works, and none can avoid or exclude these kind of a things, right? How the Java works, we cannot modify. Now this is how it will be storing it. That's where if you are facing in certain problems, etc., no, we could be asking it to clear the bin folders and then build the project again, so as you will be getting all these things back, and then you can execute it, so as it will be workable for you like that. So like yesterday we have seen a class file in the same folder. Now today in the Eclipse we are seeing it in a different location. Why? This dot class file, we understood that yesterday. Anyways, it's a computer understandable language, and we will not be able to understand more of it, right? If you wanted to really see, no, Naveen, I wanted to see this particular class file, as I wanted to understand what is this computer language, etc. and all. Very good. So I'm gonna to show this one, hello world dot class, right? Can you see? Of course, there's a text called hello world which needs to be printed, and class name called as in hello world.java, and something line number, etc. But most of the percentage of this particular file are not understandable by a human. Though we only have generated it to get it like something like this. For me and you, it is not an understandable, right? So this will be taken care by computer at the time of execution. This is how the file will be looking out, the class file will be looking out, right? So now how can I execute this one? That's the question. Yesterday we did Java C. Now you don't need to do a Java C over here, because now if you see, no, if I remove this semicolon, there's an error coming for me in line number 7. And if I place my mouse over there, syntax error, insert semicolon to complete the block statement is giving me, as simple as that. See, so if I place this semicolon, the issue is resolved. So Java C is happening in then and there only for each and every line that you are writing it. Okay. Now how to execute. Again, the question is like how we create. I shown you to create three ways for a project. The similar way we can also execute three ways for this one. Okay, so now how to show this? I'll right click and then I'll run as Java application. If the Java, and when you're dealing with Eclipse, you don't need to worry about Java being installed in your machine or not. Okay, Eclipse has that intelligence so as you can get it executed. But best practice it is have the Java installed in your computers. Okay, now can you see hello world got printed in the console screen? And if you have any problems or warnings in your program that you have written, for example, I'll remove this and then I'll save this. See, there is one error coming in and then it says syntax error insert. And the moment you close it, right? So this is the other way to find the errors and the problems in warnings in your project. Now over here, now what I'm going to do is there is another way to execute. Second way, right click on the project, file name, class name, okay, and then I'll save it as run as Java application. So we're going to get the same options over here. And the third way is, if you can notice, this is a particular one. And then if you have multiple programs, then all will be displayed over here. However, since we do have only one program, I'm selecting it as, and then see. So these are the three ways we can execute this particular program using the Eclipse. And then we can get an output. All right. I hope it's clear till now. Okay. So now moving ahead, how can I write an addition program? Right. What I'm going to do is I'll right click over here, next, and then I'll create a new class, and then I'll say like arithmetic operators, the class name that I have written. And as usual, I'll be writing in main method public static void main string of arrays and then arguments. Don't worry, we will also learn why did I write the string of arrays inside the main method. We'll learn to that context. Okay. And now over here, what I can do. Now, let's go with our basics. Hmm? What is that? So I'll say like in order to perform addition, we need to or okay. Since we are writing in with multiple text and all, what I'm gonna do is I'll use multi-liner comments. Hmm? This is my computer name. Don't worry. Okay. In order to perform arithmetic operation, in order to do an arithmetic operations, we need two values, right? And mostly numbers, which is of integer type. I'm not saying can we not do it for a long or not, right? Also for long, float, double, right? For all these things, we can do the arithmetic operation. In fact, even for strings, we can do the addition, basically called as concatenation, which we will learn exclusively at the time of strings. Now, for this one, so what did I tell? I told that we need two values, right? And exclusively, mostly numbers is what I have told. Now, in that case, yesterday we have seen that how to define an value, basically an integer type, right? And how it can store it, etc. Now, if you notice, I'll write something like integer, okay? Number one is equals to some 10, I'll put it. And the similar way, I'll take up another integer, number two is equals to 25 is what I'm giving it. And now I'm asking it to do an arithmetic operators, right? So what all arithmetic operators? It's time for us to perform addition. Now, in order to do an addition, in order to deal with addition, we need third value, right, variable, which can store the result of these two values. Third value also we can tell. Third value. Now in that case, what is that third value? I'll say integer number 3. Now what is this number 3? Number 3 is equals to number 1 plus number 2. Okay, all good. Now, how would I know that what is the value of this result? Did it do the now addition, etc. No, I wanted to see that. So system out println, and then I'll say like number 3. Hmm? And now this number 3 is storing a value, and this can be getting printed. Now I'll right click and then I'll run as Java application. See, it has done the addition and we have got the output. As simple as that, right? So this is how I'll be teaching you guys in all the programs, that whatever we write basically to get an output. Okay, so now I'll stop over here. The further arithmetic operations, whatever we do now, I'll be teaching you it in the tomorrow. So let's not hurry burry. Initially, let's get adjusted to what we are learning, and then slowly we'll complete the course as well. So course completion is not the important, is not the only important. Our intention is to learn the concepts, learn the programs, right, and the problem solvings, so as we can later work with them. Fine. Okay. Hope it's audible for you guys. And then because I did not hear back after at least from the last half an hour, and then you are able to follow with my teaching. Let me know if at all any feedbacks you do have or any of the questionnaires that you have to me. I'll stop the recording.